The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, has called for reforms in the military which would bring about professionalism and accountability. The call was made by the Executive Secretary of NHRC, Dr. Anthony Ojukwu SAN, at Civil Military Forum on the recommendations and findings of the Special Independent Investigative Panel on Human Rights Violations in Counterinsurgency Operations in Northeast Nigeria. The forum is among the many activities lined up for the Human Rights Week, which will take to December 10, being the day for the International Human Rights Day. Represented by Mr. Hillary, Senior Human Rights Advisor, Ojukwu said a panel was set up to investigate the allegations by international media Reuters against the military on rights violations, and their findings and recommendations was presented to NHRC.
The Special Independent Investigative Panel on Human Rights Violations in Counterinsurgency Operations in Northeast Nigeria, which was established in response to the disturbing allegations published in the Reuters report titled Nightmare in Nigeria, has completed its investigations and issued critical findings and recommendations. These findings highlight serious concerns regarding human rights violations in the region, including the killing of civilians in Abisare, Borno State, and allegations of forced abortions and violence against women and children. In light of these findings, this forum serves as a platform for us to engage in meaningful dialogue and explore ways to address these concerns. Our primary goal is to bring together the Nigerian military, the NHRC, and other law enforcement and security agencies to collectively reflect on these findings and discuss practical steps for the implementation of the panel's recommendations. At the NHRC, we believe that upholding human rights is not just the responsibility of the government or human rights organizations. It is a shared duty amongst all of us. As the National Human Rights Commission, we are committed to promoting human dignity, ensuring accountability, and strengthening the rule of law. This forum, therefore, would help guide our collective efforts towards ensuring that such violations are addressed and that we build a military that respects the rights and dignity of all civilians in conflict zones. The issues we are addressing today are not only about past violations, but about ensuring that we create a future where human rights are central to the operations of armed forces. This will require commitment, transparency, and willingness to learn and grow from our past experiences. I am confident that the discussions and decisions that will take place today will contribute to the reforms needed to ensure greater accountability within the military and to establish stronger protection for civilians in the Northeast and other conflict areas of the country. I encourage everyone here today to engage actively, share thoughts, insights, and contribute to a constructive conversation about how we can collectively work together towards a military that is both effective in safeguarding our national security and accountable to the human rights of every citizen.
Similarly, Kemi Okunyido, member NHRC Governing Council, who represented the chairperson, said the findings of the panel were thorough.
The findings of the SIP Northeast, which were guided by a commitment to thorough investigation, impartiality, and transparency, have brought to light serious concerns regarding the conduct of military operations in the region. These concerns include, but are not limited to, the killing of civilians in Abisare, Borno State, and allegations of forced and illegal abortions and other grave violations. While some of the most serious allegations, including systemic abuses, were not substantiated by the panel's investigation, we must not lose sight of the fact that significant human rights violations did occur. The killing of civilians in Abisare remains a grave violation that demands justice, accountability, and immediate action. These are not abstract issues. They are real. The lives affected are real. Families impacted exist. Communities impacted are still suffering and must be acknowledged, and it must be addressed. The recommendations of the panel provide a roadmap for addressing these violations, holding perpetrators accountable, and ensuring that similar violations do not occur in the future. Among the panel's key recommendations are compensation for the victims of the Abisari killings, with the federal government ensuring that the families and communities affected are provided adequate reparations. The prosecution of those responsible for this heinous act through a court-martial and a referral of retired officers for proper prosecution by the Attorney General of the Federation. Reforms aimed at strengthening accountability mechanisms within the military, including improved training on human rights and development of standards for military engagement that prioritize civilian protection.